Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be restoring and customizing a little Yatming Corvette. So these were produced in the mid 80s. I guess this is a C4 Corvette. Yatming, I guess, was one of the cheaper brands. We'll just take a closer look at this example off of the turntable. It's all there, the windscreen's not broken or anything, it's just a badly worn paint job. And a plastic base on it there. It's quite light, it's not a heavy model, but I think there's some pretty good detail in the casting. Interior there, it's got opening doors. I think with a little bit of work we can get this model looking pretty cool. So let's crack on and take it apart. There's only one rivet to drill out, and it's got a little plastic tab, part of the base that holds it on the front. So I'll just pry that off with a pick. Now I can take the base off and pull it all apart. So it's got little corgi style plastic tabs holding the axles in there. Then here's the interior. And the windscreen. So lucky that that rear part isn't broken there. It's really good. Otherwise it probably wouldn't be so worth restoring, I guess. Finding another windscreen would be a bit of a pain. So there's the doors, I just pop those out. They're held in by a bent piece of wire. And there's all our castings ready for some paint stripper. There we go, there's the paint stripper wrinkling all the paint off. Then I can rinse it off with some cold water. And this is what we were left with. So most of the paint gone off of there. I'll just pop that little piece of wire out and stash it away for later when I reassemble it. And now I'm going to give those castings a good clean up with a wire brush on my Dremel, and this will get rid of all of that oxidation that's on them. And of course the remaining scraps of paint that didn't come off with the stripper. Okay, so here are our castings after burnishing, looking a bit more clean and shiny. There's a few roughish areas on the body casting here, so I'm going to clean those up with a file and some sandpaper. So there are a few casting lines and some flashing here and there. I also sanded down the flat areas just to make them a bit smoother. There were some quite bad casting lines around the rear. I had to do a little bit of filing and sanding to get rid of those. I also drilled and tapped the post so I can put it together with a screw later on. And here is the body casting after tidying up. It's ready for some paint. I'm going to be giving this Corvette a white and red Grand Sport style paint job. So I start out with a couple of coats of white. Next I masked off the stripe down the middle of the car, and then I painted it blue. So here it is with the blue paint on it. I had to take off that masking tape, and here was my first attempt. a bit tragic. Pulled all the paint off of the stripe at the front. So here was the second attempt. This has worked a bit better. There's two red stripes on the side of the left front panel on the cars that I'm copying. So to add this, I've used a couple of pieces of decal paper that I'd painted red. I cut them out and applied them. There we go. I think they might have actually gone in over the bonnet a little bit too far, but it doesn't matter. So there's the stripes, and I've also done the detailing. So I finished it all with a couple of coats of gloss varnish, and likewise I painted the doors in the same blue. So with that done, I could move on to the base. First thing I'll do is pop out these old rusty axles. There we go. Now that's ready for some paint. So I'm going to start out by painting the rear. I'll begin with some white primer. Then I painted it blue like the rest of the car. Next I detailed the tail lights and added a little vet license plate. Then I hit that with some gloss varnish and then masked it off. Now I can paint the rest of the base black again. And just to finish it off, I painted the little tab at the front white because that'll show through on the front of the car. Okay, so I can move on to the interior now. It was a little grubby, so I gave it a bit of a clean. And then I painted it red. I have a red and black interior. So once this had dried, I detailed the dash and the console there in black. So we're nearly there. Onto the windscreen now. Look at that, no cracks in it really. There's some tiny ones that you can hardly see. And all I did with this was give it a really good polish with some plastic polish. And that's made it look a lot more shiny. Look at that. And all that was left was the wheels. I'm definitely not going to be using these old worn out looking ones. So I've got some aftermarket ones to replace them. Oh, where are they? There they go. And I've seen a few of these C4s with pretty similar mags to those on them, so I think they'll suit it well. Okay, so here are all the parts of our Yatming Corvette, refurbished, repainted and ready to go back together. This is another one of those cars I'm quite excited to see once it's put back together. So while I'm reassembling it, let's just take a look back and be reminded of what we started with. Our worn out little Yatming Corvette all the way from the 80s, hung in there. Maybe it was a cheap car at the time, but let's see what we can do with it. And here it is, our finished, restored and customized little Yatming Corvette C4, torn down, repainted and built back up in grand sport style. It's got that cool white and blue paint job now. There's a couple of little red stripes there. It's been detailed inside and out. Got that nice new red interior there. Windows have had a good shine up and are looking nice and new again. It's got a little custom license plate, and of course it's got those nice new aftermarket wheels. So I'm really stoked with how this came out. I thought that was a nice looking casting when I started with it, and I think this paint job has really brought out how good it could look. You can let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, before I go, I'll give a massive shout out to my awesome Patreon supporters. Thanks heaps for supporting the channel, guys. If you'd like to join them and help out as well, you can check out my Patreon page. There's a link in the description below. Thanks heaps to you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more similar stuff, remember to subscribe and click the bell. Give the video a like and share it with your friends.